Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic. This is the episode each week where we do what we were originally built for. We try and solve a cryptic crossword, so we'll have a go at today's Times crossword, which is by John Halpern today. I'm sure I've done one of John Halpern's puzzles in a video before, but I can't remember when. The Friday slot has typically been reserved for the sort of monstrously difficult constructors, and the snitch rating today suggests that this puzzle is of average difficulty, which is a rarity for a Friday, and it does mean that if you're relatively new to cryptic crosswords, you should have a chance with this one. Let's just have a look at the stats. So John McCabe's, that's a real time there, 4 minutes 24, super fast. I'm not sure about Jason James. I know is real, 6 minutes 11. Nathan's real, 6 minutes 19. Matthew Marcus, always one I look for because his times are so excellent. 8 minutes 7. So it's definitely not a walk in the park. This one, no matter what John's time. Dean's a really good solver, and it's taken Dean 10 minutes. So it's not as quite as easy perhaps as the snitch is suggesting. But anyway, this is what we're going to try and do, and hopefully I'll talk you through my thoughts such as they are as we go through, and fingers crossed that will help you with your own solving. Now, a couple of things to mention before we get solving though. We've just started a new series of Minute Cryptic in a Minute videos. They appear on our Instagram feed, on TikTok as well, and of course, was that my phone buzzing? Oh, I can't do that. I can't get that now. And also on the YouTube channel. So it's a bit like Mark's Wordle in a Minute, but I try and do the previous day's Minute Cryptic clue as fast as I can, and explain the thought process. So if you are I know lots of you do the Minute Cryptic puzzle, so some of you may enjoy those videos. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen to the most recent one. Over on Patreon, we have a real bonus. Mark has solved a recent listener crossword. So if you want to watch Mark's attempt at, the listener crossword is this fantastic series of very advanced cryptic crosswords which always have a theme. There's always a preamble that you have to decode. I love the listener crossword. I don't have time to do it very often anymore. Anyway, Mark's recorded his whole solve of a recent listener, so that's over on Patreon now. Well done to Sir Lunch, who wrote to us in the week to say, after 3 decades of sort of knowing about cryptic crosswords and occasionally dipping his teeth into cryptic crosswords, he finished his first crossword in one sitting this week, which he claims is something to do with these videos. So we're always delighted to get that sort of feedback. Well done to Sir Lunch. And I'll also just briefly mention, this is a bit of a humble brag, but we had some amazing news this week. This is what happened to us. Thinky Games. We actually won their Best Content Creator Award, which is it's ridiculous, but we did. So we're very delighted and very humbled by this, and it's quite astonishing. But thank you. I know some of you will have voted for us in those awards, and for that we are extremely grateful and made up, really. Anyway, let's get back to solving. Right, let's have a go at the puzzle now. So this is going to be John Halpern's Times crossword. What's the date? Friday, 6th of February. Let's get cracking. Okay, so let me just check that the recording's in there. It looks all good to me. So what have we got? We've got a 10-letter word, one across. Little kid held prisoner, one growing up slowly. So quick reminder, all of these clues contain a straight definition of the answer that we're going to enter. Which is that straight definition is normally at the start or the end of the clue. So here it might be little, it might be little kid. It's unlikely to be little kid held prisoner because there just aren't words that mean little kid held prisoner. Or it could be the other end of the clue, one growing up slowly, or even just slowly. And the rest of the clue, you may say, okay, so there's a definition. What's the rest of the clue? The rest of the clue is a recipe that tells you how to concoct that answer, that string of letters that we're going to enter. So it might say to put a word inside another word, or it might say to reverse a word, or it might say to anagram a word. But it's reading that recipe correctly that's a lot of the skill of these puzzles, as well as spotting which part of the clue is the definition. Here I don't... it feels more likely that the definition here is one growing up slowly. Just because words that indicate position, and the word held here indicates position. Little kid, so if we could think of a word that meant little kid, and that surrounded, if it held a word for a prisoner, that would be a way we could read a recipe. So little kid, tyke, tot, prisoner. Prisoners, there's 2 3-letter synonyms that often come up for prisoner. Con, as in a convict, and lag. Sometimes you see POW as well, prisoner of war. But that would imply our little kid was a 7-letter word. I don't know what this is, I don't think. Or it could be little as in a word like we, W-W-E-E. That obviously means little, a sort of Scottish word for little. And then we could have a word for kid as well. One growing up slowly. I mean, that's classic crossword definition territory, that, because it makes you want to think about a person who's growing up slowly. They're young at heart, but it's probably not going to mean that. It's probably literally going to be a plant that grows slowly, like bamboo. Does bamboo grow quickly? I don't know. I'm no botanist. Right, let's have a look at one down. That's pathetic of me. Right, 5 letters. Disciple heading for stage. That's my cue. I don't know what this is. The only part of the clue I think I understand is the phrase heading for stage. Heading for stage is shouting, take the head letter from the word stage, which is S. But is that S going to be the start letter, or is it going to be the end letter? And that's going to depend which side of the clue is the definition. So disciple, I mean, there are like Mark, Luke. They would be Jesus' disciples. So a word like marks, could that be that's my cue? Could that be defining marks? I mean, cue makes me, it could be an actor. I mean, the phrasing of the clue with the heading for the stage, John's trying to make us think about acting. But I wonder, that's my cue, could be a snooker or a pool reference. Spider, that's a snooker cue, isn't it? Or it's a rest or something. Ooh, I don't know what this one is either. Oh dear, let's carry on. Oh, this, again, I'm instantly looking at this, and this is a real weirdity, and I'm just going to mention it because I haven't read the clue yet. But there is something about the letters and the way they're arranged that makes me think this is a hard clue. Now, you may say, that is mad, and I sort of agree. I don't know why I think that, but I do. Anyway, let's read the clue. That's always, in order to work out whether it's mad and difficult, we should actually read it. So 6 across, scrubbing back, 4 letters, scrubbing back, use little brush. That's a brilliant clue. I mean, the wording is, I don't know what the answer is, by the way, but I think scrubbing back, that makes me think we're going to have a 5-letter word and we're going to remove the back letter of that 5-letter word. So perhaps five-letter word for use. Don't know. And do I know any 4-letter words for a little brush? No. So actually, I'm completely right. It was a hard clue. But for some reason, my brain told me it was hard but before I read it. This is a terrible start because these... Let's go for 14 down. This is a bit off-piste, isn't it? But let's try this. Nine letters. A knockout blow. Knockout can sometimes be KO in cryptic crosswords, and that is supported by the dictionary. If we go to KO in the dictionary, we will. There we go. Knockout. It's listed, so it is a valid abbreviation. But here it doesn't look like that's a KO at the start of a word. I don't think I know many words that begin AKO. The word A is interesting in this clue. I know some of you will be laughing, going, why is he interested in the indefinite article? Well, it's because I'm wondering why it's there. Why is that letter A there? Because let's imagine it wasn't. The clue would read knockout blow, which basically means the same. So that A is there, I think, as part of the recipe, in which case... I don't know, that's a really weird... I wonder if this begins with A. Let's look at 14 across. 5 letters. Crow, something with feathers and wings in short. That is a brilliant clue. Golly gosh, John, that is brilliant. I've actually solved this one. It doesn't begin with A. So again, I mean, we're going through these clues. We're trying to spot what part of the clue is the definition. If you think you know what the definition is in this clue, that's great. If you don't know, pause the video. Force yourself to make a decision. Do you think we're looking for a 5-letter word that means crow? Or does it mean short? Or does it mean wings in short? If you think it means crow, well done. That's correct. Now, something with feathers. We're all thinking, well, bird, or a name of a type of bird, perhaps. Actually, it's not that. You might have heard of a feather boa. And wings in short is not saying find a word for wings and shorten it. It's saying take the wings of the word short. So like a stage has wings, doesn't it, on both sides? A word has wings as well. So the S and the T. And that gives us boast, which of course means if you crow, you boast. So although the clue ostensibly seems to be about things that fly, it's got nothing to do with it. No part of the clue is about anything that flies. It's lovely. It's really well worded, that. Now, okay, let's go back here then. So 14 down now begins with B. A knockout blow. A knockout blow. What's that? A sort of blockbuster or something? Or a knockout is a knockout. Knockout blow. Barnstorm. No. Big Bertha. I don't know what. No, none of this is any use, is it? Let's have a look at 3 down. 7. Dead and buried, Corinthians yet to come alive. Okay, I'm probably wrong, but I want this to be an anagram. It feels like it's an anagram of Corinthians yet to me. How many letters have we got in Corinthians? That looks like 11. Yeah, so Corinthians yet is 14 letters. So those letters are coming alive. Now, if something comes alive, it sort of wakens, doesn't it? It starts to move. So I think that's the sense in which, that's why to come alive is being used as an anagram indicator. anagram indicators, they can be quite flowery in terms of how they're expressed. So they don't have to say break up the letters of that or smash the letters. They can indicate agitation or stirring and things like that. Anything that indicates that sort of thing could be an anagram indicator. So if we're right about that, we're looking for a 7-7 phrase that means dead and buried. Oh, it's got a Y in it as well. Dead and buried. Dead and buried. Ancient history is what we've got there. That's lovely, isn't it? That's a really good clue again. It's a funny one, that, because we've got 14 letters that we've just added to the grid. But if you look in all the checking positions, apart from that C, possibly, they're all rubbishy letters that don't look very helpful. Let's try 10 across. 7 letters. Damage a lawsuit, leaving English couple shaken. Damage a lawsuit, leaving English couple shaken. That's a really interesting clue, because I'm not sure how to read it. If I had to guess at this point, I'd say it was a 7-letter word that means damage, but that could be wrong. A lawsuit, I think that might be a case. Oh, in that case, I've got it now. I've read it wrong. Okay, it's lovely again. So a lawsuit is in fact a case. And note the importance of the A there. Damage lawsuit, leaving English couple shaken would not be correct for this clue, because the recipe would not be accurate. The recipe, it can be expressed in ways that make it seem balmy and bonkers, but once you read it, it has to be exact. So how does this clue work? We need a 3-letter word that means damage. Well, that's mar. Then we've got A, that's the A in the clue. A lawsuit is a case. Leaving English, so we're going to leave the E out of the word case, and that is because if we go to the dictionary and look up E, we will find there, English. Let me just check the dictionary. The dictionary is working, isn't it? Yeah, that's all good. So, so that is why we take the E out of case, and the couple shaken are maracas. So, I mean, I thought when I read the clue, shaken was much more likely to be an anagram indicator, but it's not. Maracas is what we're after there. Another very clever clue. And this time we do get a good checking letter, M in one down. We must look at that again then. Simon is a disciple. I'm on. It's me. That's bizarre. Okay, so disciple. One of Jesus' disciples was Simon. Heading for stage is S. That's that S. And if you were to say, that's my cue, you'd be saying, I'm on. I'm going on the stage. So there we go. Simon appears. That's weird. I thought the clue was about Mark originally, but it's actually about me. Well, it's not really about me, but you know what I mean. Right, now let's go back to 1 across then. 10 letters. Little kid held prisoner. One growing up slowly. Ooh, it's not a plant, is it? I've got this. Remember the difference, that we're looking for something that grows in caves, I think. So your stalactite, tights would always hang down. So this must be a stalagmite, I think. A stalagmite. I don't know why yet. Mite is probably the little kid, is it? Lag is in there. Hang on. Little kid. Held prisoner. Oh, okay. No, that's not what I was expecting. So I thought held was going to be doing the duty of a container indicator, so saying put a word for a prisoner inside a word for a little kid. That's not how we're meant to read this. The question mark here is important, actually, because Stalag was wasn't it a Soviet prison? So I think a mite, which is a little kid, in a stalag might be called a stalagmite. So the little kid held prisoner question mark is saying, well, if you were to describe a little kid held prisoner somewhere, they could be, loosely described in a punny way, be described as a stalagmite. So if we look up stalag in the dictionary, German camp for prisoners of war. But okay, so gulag is a Russian prison, isn't it? So there's something about the etymology there. Lager. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? The AG ending. It's common to both, and there's something like an offlag as well. I think is a Russian. No, that's a German for. Okay, so offlag. So I know 3 words ending in ag for prisons, and although one of them is Russian. So anyway, but stalagmite, one growing up slowly. Of course, a stalagmite grows up from the floor of caves, and now. Well, nursemaid would fit at 12 across. I don't think we haven't. Oh, Notre Dame, perhaps European landmark. European landmark. One dreamt in need of reconstruction. Well, we're lucky. The N at the start here makes this very gettable. And if you're new to the puzzles and you haven't understood how the recipe works, make yourself reread it. Decide, figure it out, because this is very doable. If you look at them, we need 9 letters. 1 dreamt. That's 9 letters. So those letters are in need of reconstruction. We have to anagram them. And that gives us Notre Dame. Or Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame, the American university, isn't it? I mean, Notre Dame, I might say, in this country for the cathedral. Right, so we never looked at 2 down. 9 letters. A rising rent drops for unconventional vehicle. I know the start of this. Okay, I've never heard of this word. That's okay. Fair enough. But the great thing about cryptic crosswords is even if you've never heard of the word, and I would say once every 3 days in the Times, there'll be a word I've never heard of. I've never heard of this word. But normally you'll have a fair chance of getting the answer anyway because of the recipe part of the clue. So let's again, we've got the A here. Why is the A there? It's almost certainly part of the recipe, which tells us the other side of the clue is going to be the definition. So we're looking for a vehicle or an unconventional vehicle. Now the A, given it's there for a reason, is probably this A. Rising rent. What could that mean? Well, this is a down clue. So if a word rises, it would be reversed. Rising, if this was an across clue and it wouldn't work, the recipe would be wrong. Because a rising of a word in an across clue would not cause a reversal. Whereas in a down clue, it would. That's an important principle. So we need a word for rent. You may be thinking rent. Okay, that's something I pay a landlord. Remember though, rent, if something is rent, it is torn, isn't it? So actually, we don't need that though. Torn won't work. But if we tore something, it was rent. So we're looking for aero something. And then we need a word for drops. And what do we get drops of? We get, especially in this country at the moment, we don't just get drops of them, we get deluges of rain. So I think there must be a word aerotrain. I have never heard of an aerotrain. I don't know what it is, but I'm so confident the wordplay is right that I am going to look it up. So let's look at aero. Oh yes, it is there. Aerotrain. There, look, aerotrain. Now, what is an aerotrain? A train driven by an aircraft engine riding on a cushion of air. Okay. Right, well that is what an aerotrain is. So we've got aerotrain. Now we can go to 4 down, which is 7 letters beginning with M. VIP into dirt, seedy stuff, okay. So again, let's use the principles we've understood. If there's anything in the clue that could indicate the position of something, it's quite likely to be wordplay. So VIP into dirt. That is saying, think of a word for dirt, and into that word insert a word for a VIP. Now, once you've understood that, can you think of any short synonyms for dirt? Beginning with M. Well, what about mud? Well, that would give us a D here, and all of a sudden the clue becomes very solvable. I'm sure most of you have solved it already, but seedy stuff? Mustard, as in mustard seeds. And a VIP is a star. We put the star into the mud and we get the answer. So that one's, obviously, once you start to get checking letters, the clues become that much more straightforward. Let's try 5 down now, beginning with T, 7 letters. Greek character frames clever picture. One thing I would recommend, although I've just thought this couldn't be Theseus, could it? But if you ever see Greek character, it's far more likely to be a letter from the Greek alphabet, like epsilon, theta, delta, beta. You have to really have a working knowledge of the names of the Greek letters. It could, of course, be a character from Greek mythology, like Theseus. I have seen Theseus would fit, but I also look, Greek character frames clever. Now, if a word frames another word, what could that mean in a recipe sense? It means it's on the outside of it, it's surrounding it. So it's probably theta around, well, then I'm not so sure, because then I need a short synonym for clever that's possibly very short to give a word for a picture. Hang on, what is this? I should know this, shouldn't I? Okay, well, let's change tack then. Can we think of any short words for clever? Witty, smart, bright, and these are not short enough synonyms, are they? Fly could mean clever. I don't know what this is. That's really bad. Greek character frames clever picture. What Greek letters are there that begin with T? Theta? Oh dear. I'm feeling very stupid. I'm so sorry. I don't know what that is. Let's try 15 across. 9 letters. Beginning with D. I get paid by word of mouth to carry on boxes during the day. Again, it's a brilliant service. I get paid by word of mouth to carry on. To carry on. I don't know what that is, but if you carry on with a war, you wage war, don't you? So wage I quite like for carry on. But that boxes something. If a word boxes another thing, it would sort of surround it. During the day. Boxes during the day. I get paid. I don't know what this is. I think I'm going to be impressed by that one once I get the answer to it. Hopefully, if I get the answer at all. Let's try 9 down. This is a phrase. 4235. Miserable result of eating duck. Down in the mouth. It's just down in the mouth. Okay, that's lucky. So, why? Okay, I'm going to put that in. I'm sorry, I've just blurted it out. Can you see why this is the answer? So again, we have to cut the clue. Now, this is an interesting clue because it does have the question mark at the end. Now, one possible meaning of a question mark, and there are many, so don't think that, I now understand question marks because I'm going to tell you what the question mark means in this clue. There are several meanings of question marks, but one meaning of question mark in a cryptic crossword clue is that the whole clue is a cryptic definition, which means we have to read the whole thing and think about it laterally. Now, this isn't that. But it could have been before I got the answer, but it isn't. We do have to cut the clue here. So there is a definition part of this, and there is a wordplay part. And we're going to cut it after the word miserable. And if you're miserable, you're down in the mouth. So how does the rest of the clue act as a recipe? Result of eating duck. Well, with the question mark. The question mark is here is indicating a pun. So you're duck down. Down is something you get from ducks. The eider duck provides eider down. So if you did eat duck, you might have down in your mouth, down in the mouth. So the result of eating duck, question mark, is saying, well, is this a possible result of eating a duck? Well, I suppose it is a possible result. It's probably not what would happen in real life, but it could be. So down in the mouth is sort of punning on what might happen when you eat duck. Now that does give us 2 starting letters, these 2. So let's try 13 across, beginning with N. Line on high-flying group as running feature. Line on high-flying group as running feature. I don't know, I've got undermilk wood in my brain. What is it? There's some part of the prologue where you know, in old houses they used to have the ducks on the wall or the geese on the wall, and the greying dicky bird watching pictures of the dead or something. That, I mean, Dylan Thomas, a total genius, unlike me. Line on high flying group as running feature. I don't know. Yellowing dicky bird watching pictures of the dead. Let's try 20 across. 5 letters, beginning with H. Outdoorsy type, cyclist changing in the van. Oh, okay. So again, that question mark at the end. I think I know what this is, but I'm not totally sure. Can we think of any synonyms for a cyclist? I think the most obvious one would be a rider. But what does this mean? A cyclist changing in the van. Does that mean a cyclist is in his white van getting changed? No. In the van is a classic bit of crosswordese. Because if you're in the vanguard, you're at the front. So cyclist changing in the van, I think, is saying, think of a word for a cyclist and change the first letter. Now we've got a first letter of H now, so I think this is going to be hider. And then outdoorsy type. Is that defining a hider? I don't know, but I've heard of hides, like where people go to watch animals. So maybe a hider is somebody who does that, in which case they're probably a bit of an outdoorsy type. But again, the question mark there is indicating that cyclist changing in the van, we have to think about that phrase very laterally in order to come up with this reading to give us this wordplay. And I think that's what the question mark's doing. I'm not certain this is right, so I'm not going to look this one up. I'm going to have a look at 16 down, which is 4-5. Foot on shovel, take out a weed somewhere in the Sierra Nevada. I haven't got this one. Somewhere in the Sierra Nevada. This is going to be a place, isn't it? And I'm not going to know it, and that's terrible. I mean, foot on shovel. What is that saying? Is that hinting at the letter L? Are we saying that word shovel has a foot because it's a down clue? So the foot, as in a base. So the base of the word shovel would be the L. Maybe? And then take out a weed. That feels to me like I have to anagram a weed. But that doesn't seem to make sense. Because where's the rest of the recipe then? Because that would indicate somewhere in the Sierra Nevada is the definition. I think I've misread this. I haven't quite understood it. I think it might well involve an anagram of a weed somehow. Take out foot on shovel. Again, this is another clue that I sense I'm just slightly misreading, and that's infuriating. Let's, where should we go now? Should we try 17 across? 9 letters, exclamation mark at the end. Brother, I'm no fixer. Brother, I'm no fixer. Brother. I'm sorry, I wish I could explain this. I don't know what's going on. Brother. I mean, a brother makes you think of sort of a religious person. A brother in a abbey or something. I'm no fixer. Wow, don't know. Let's try 21 across. 5 letters. Fork, skewering item. Morsel, finally, getting consumed. Yeah, okay. Fork, skewering item. Morsel, finally, getting consumed. Again, the surfaces of these clues are excellent. Now, we have to split it. The phrase getting consumed should be, if you're following the sort of thought patterns such as they are, you should be thinking, if a word gets consumed by another, it might be inside it, or that's perfect. If you're thinking that, that's perfect. And if that's true, the other side of the clue is going to be the definition, isn't it? So we're looking for a word here that means fork, because I don't think fork skewering item is adding much to the definition of fork. The fork does do the skewering, so we're probably looking for a word for a fork. Now, a skewering item Morsel finally getting consumed. Well, morsel finally. What's that saying? That's saying the final letter of the word morsel, L. And that's getting consumed by a skewering item. Well, a skewering item might be a spit. And if we put L in spit, we get split. And if a road forks, it splits. So a fork is a split. I think that must be right. So let's go for 22 down, beginning with L. 5 letters. Flower bunches, including text for you. Yeah, okay. So this is something we're starting to see more in cryptic crosswords over the last really couple of years, and that is text speak coming into these clues. But here John is very kind and says text for you. And of course, in a text, if you saw the letter U, you'd know that meant you, as in Y-O-U. So what we're looking for here is a 4-letter word for bunches, into which we're going to include a U. And the whole thing will mean a flower. So, continuing our poetry theme, we'll have lotus eaters. Was that was that Tennyson? Oh, golly. Oh, this takes me back to my school days. Oh, I'm not sure. Not sure whether it was Tennyson or Keats, or it could have been someone else even. I think it was Tennyson. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's move swiftly on. 25 across. 7 letters. Access connected with digestive tract. Isn't there some sort of isn't enteral a word? Access would be. No, I'm not sure actually. Enter. Maybe it's enteric or something. Access. If you access something, you enter it. I'm not sure. I think that might begin enter, but it might not. Let's try 27 across 4 letters. Lover of the bottle, very green. That's okay. So I suppose this is the most straightforward type of clue, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. So this is a double definition. What we have to do is split the clue in half. So lover of the bottle, very green. We're looking for a word that means both of those things. Now, if a meadow was described, if it was very green, you might describe it as lush. And a lush is also a drunkard. So, a lover of the bottle. Now, we must be able to get this then. It was something to do with knockouts, wasn't it? Bombshell. Yeah, okay. So I think this is playing on the fact, this is a bit of a double definition really. A knockout, you have heard of the phrase a blonde bombshell. That means a very good looking woman. A knockout. But a knockout blow would be a bombshell, as in something that explodes. That would be a knockout blow. So I think it must be bombshell, and it's a double definition in effect. And that does support this is enteric or enteral or something. Oh, and my brother, I'm no fixer. Brother, mendicant. Mend I can't. That's brilliant. That is a brilliant clue. So a religious, that I've heard of a phrase, a mendicant, as in some sort of religious person. But if you split it up and say it, mend I can't. Well, if you can't mend, you're like me. I am absolutely hopeless at DIY. But I'm no fixer. That would absolutely, I'm no fixer, mend I can't. The exclamation mark there is just to indicate it's an outrageous piece of wordplay and fully justified. So let's try and get the end letter for this one. 18 down, 7 letters, broadcaster of back-to-back articles about 10. Antenna or something? Yeah. So you see the number 10 here. That could have a lot of different meanings. First thing you should be thinking is the Roman numeral for the number 10, which is X. So that would be a possibility. The second thing, I suppose, and this is what it is here, it's actually the number 10, T-E-N. Third thing you should be thinking is, what did we enter at 10 in the clue? We entered maracas, so it could have something to do with that answer. It won't be that clue, it'll be that answer. But here, we're lucky, broadcaster. And then we think of the word 10, and we've got an A at the start. And it feels like the answer might be antenna. And then we can sort of back into it, because back-to-back articles, these are articles, as in the indefinite article, we saw that earlier with A. The definite article is the, but one form of the indefinite article is an. So A and an are the indefinite articles. And here we've got back-to-back articles, an, and then an backwards at the end, around the number 10, and then an antenna is something that broadcasts. Oh, so this must be it must be enteron, connected with. If something is on the subject of something, it's connected with it, isn't it? So digestive tract. So again, this is another word that I'm not familiar with, but enteron. What was the other one that I wasn't sure about? So I wasn't going to look it up. Oh, I can't see it now. Maybe I didn't put it in because I wasn't sure about it. Was it that one? I don't know. Okay, but I think I am prepared to look this one up. I mean, I can't get any more information about it. So let's check it. Enteron. It is there as a word, so it's going to be right. Here we go. In coelenterates, animals with only one body cavity, the body cavity itself. In higher animals, the gut or alimentary canal. Well, I'll forgive myself for not knowing that word or what it meant really. But because we could read the clue correctly, we could still get the answer. Let's try 23, which is 9 letters. Failure, though not on, in wobble for measuring instrument. Okay, I don't know what this is, but sometimes these clues can read very like mathematical equations. So sort of x plus y equals z. Now here, the word for, I think, is doing the duty of the equal sign in a mathematical equation. So we've got something at the start. I don't know whether we'll have to read that to work out what we'll have to do, x plus y or y minus z or something. For equals a measuring instrument. So I think this is going to be some sort of something meter is what I think. So let's read the clue and see if we can work out what. Failure, though not on, in wobble. Teeter. If you wobble, you teeter, don't you? Failure. Lemon. A lemon is a failure. And lemon without the word on, though not on, would give us lem. So telemeter. A telemeter must be a measuring instrument. Again, not a word I know, but it seems very forced, if you like, by the recipe. Let's see if we can justify the L. So 19 down. I mean, I haven't read the clue, but NATO led astray. I mean, that feels like we have to treat the letters NATO led as anagrammed if they're going to be astray. Hawkish. Taloned. Yes, okay, as in if you've got claws like talons, a hawk would have talons, wouldn't it? So taloned is right there. Should we go for this? Nourish or neutron or something? 7 letters beginning with N. Mildly obscene as love, did you say? Mildly obscene as love, did you say? Mildly obscene. Oh, okay. That's really good. Okay, so this is sort of a punny homophone. If something is mildly obscene, it's a bit risque, isn't it? It's a little naughty. But imagine that it wasn't. Imagine we spelt this differently. We spelt it with an O there. What would that mean? That would be a bit like the number 0, the naught. And so this is what this is saying. This word naughty sounds exactly like this if it was a word, which would be describing as love. If something was as love, it would be naughty, because love can be synonymous with the number 0. From tennis, for example, 40 love would mean 40-0. So again, the question mark there is indicating that it's a pun, and the did you say is indicating it's a homophone. So if you see any reference to speech or hearing things, it's going to be a word that sounds like another but is spelt differently and has a different meaning. Lake Tahoe. Oh, it's not then. Rider is wrong. Biker. Ah, hiker is our out. I'm glad I didn't look that up. Wow. Okay, so our outdoorsy type was a hiker, and the cyclist is not a rider, it was a biker who was changing the first letters. And then this is going to be Lake Tahoe. I don't know why yet. Foot on shovel was L. Take out a weed. Hoe. Oh, take out. Oh, I see. So foot on shovel was L. I explained why that worked earlier. Take out is an anagram of take. A is there, and if you weed a bed in your garden, you hoe it. H-O-E. Very nice clue. Now, look, we've got a chance here because we've got a Y in this one for 24 down. Frost in interview. Well, that... Okay, it must be rhyme. Right louse for White House, say. Yeah, okay. So there's a lot going on in this one. It's trying to hint at Frost's interview with Richard Nixon, which is obviously one of the most famous sort of political interviews in history. But if something is in interview, I think the idea is, the clue is that it's spoken. And frost, R-I-M-E, is a word for frost. Let's look up that. There we go. Hoarfrost. And that obviously sounds exactly the same as this word, rhyme. And everyone knows what a rhyme is. But how does the rest of the clue work? Well, it's giving an example of a rhyme. That's why that say is there. Right louse for White House. Right louse rhymes with White House, and it's trying to hint that Nixon was a louse. And okay, and that 24 down is fine, and this must be hard cheese at 28 across. That's the way the cookie crumbles, but this food's solid. That's the way the cookie crumbles. I think, yeah, that the phrase "that's the way the cookie crumbles" would sort of say, bad luck, hard cheese. This food's solid. So it's like punning on the fact that the cookie crumbling, it wouldn't be hard. It would probably be soft if it was crumbling. But this food's solid. It's punning again. There's a lot of puns in this one, aren't there? It's a lot of having to think a bit laterally. But now we've basically done 3/4 of the puzzle. Have we got any pangramage going on today? Probably not. We haven't had J. Have we had a Q? I don't think I've typed a Q. So we haven't had Q, X, J or Z. So we're probably not looking for pangrams. So we're not going to get help that way. So let's have a look at 15 across. Again, 9 letters still, beginning with D. I get paid by word of mouth to carry on boxes during the day. I get paid by word of mouth. I want to say that's something like a storyteller or something. The Jackanory reader. I get paid by word. It's like a translator. No. I get paid by word of mouth to carry on boxes during the day. Okay, I might have got this because if something happens nocturnally, it happens at night. Now, I think the opposite of nocturnal, I think, is diurnal. So is there a word diurnally for during the day? And if there is, how on earth does the wordplay work? I get paid. Oh, gosh, it's a homophone. Oh, goodness, that's difficult. Right, this is brutal wordplay, this one. So, I get paid by word of mouth. If something happens by word of mouth, it's because people tell you it, you hear it. So, I get paid is I earn, and earn being E-A-R-N. Now, obviously, that sounds exactly the same as I earn, as in U-R-N, as in a pot in which you might hold ashes. And that, so I earn, the homophone for I earn, that makes no sense, but you understand what I mean, is boxed by a word that means to carry on. And if you carry on, you dally. I mean, so I think it is diurnally. That's very, very difficult. Oh dear, and I get this one. Oh, tableau it must be. Oh, so what's the Greek character? Able. Tor. It's not, wasn't theta. Right, very good clue. So we've got tableau, which is a picture, and clever was able. I couldn't think of a short synonym which worked, and that has tor, T-A-U around it, and of course T-A-U is one of the Greek letters, 19th letter. So, okay, so we're closing in on this top right-hand side. Let's try this one. 11 across, 7 letters, beginning with B. Expand, route, to tunnel through mountain. Now, do we know any short synonyms for mountains? There are 2 that come up. Alp is one of them. The other one is Ben, for a Scottish mountain, as in Ben Nevis. So I think this might have Ben in some ways, probably at the end, isn't it? B-E-N. Root. So expand. Oh, I was going to say, is it blossom? No, blossom. That's absolute nonsense, isn't it? Root. Broaden. Yeah. A route is a road. So, and the road tunnels through, goes inside, bend for mountain, and if you broaden something, you expand it. So we're okay with, oh no, I didn't know that. I haven't got a clue what that one is. I'm going to come back to that, hopefully with more letters. Let's try 7 down then. 5 letters with a D in the middle. Credit 500, invested in market on the way up, or on the up. 500, thinking about our Roman numerals again. D is the Roman numeral for 500. So it's going to be this D, I think. In market on the up. So we've got to think of a 4-letter word for a market. And the whole thing, I think, is going to mean credit. If you give credit, you... What do I know is synonyms for market? If you market, you sell, trade. Mart, M-A-R-T. An expo, is that a market? Deal? Deal, no, Leiden. Is market to deal? And if it is Leiden a possibility there? But that doesn't mean credit, does it? I don't think it does. Let's try and get 8 down. 9 letters. Merely a fluid that's bottled in vessel. Merely a fluid that's bottled in vessel. Well, I've got this. That is a brilliantly worded clue. Merely a fluid that's bottled in vessel. Wow. Almost every part of this clue does not read as you'd expect. So do not worry if you're reading this clue thinking I don't understand. That is completely and utterly understandable. Firstly, we have to cut the clue. Where do you think we cut it? Make your decision. If you think it's the word merely, bad luck, it's not. Actually, we're cutting it after the word in. So we are looking for a 9-letter vessel. Now, merely a fluid. If you treat something in a fluid way, it's moving, isn't it? If something's fluid, it's runny. So merely a fluid is actually saying anagram merely a. And that is going to bottle the word in. And if we put in an anagram of merely lay, we can get mine layer, which must be like a minesweeper or something. Well, it's opposite of a minesweeper, but something that lays mines in the sea, I presume. Not easy. Very, very well worded. Oh no, we looked at this one. Scrubbing back, use little brush. If that was an L, it would be blank L blank M. Scrubbing back, use little brush. See, I just don't think I know any names for little brushes. Mops. And what? Okay, so what's this then? Line. Oh, line is going to be L. So again, I talk about this every week. I haven't really majored on it this week, but in cryptic crosswords, words can be abbreviated to their initials if they're supported by the dictionary. And if we look up L in the dictionary, we will find listed as one of the words line there. So this word line here, I think, is going to be indicating this L at the end of the clue. So line on high flying group. What? I don't know what this means. So a 4-letter word for a high flying group. It could be the name of an airline. NASA. NASA is what it is. So we've got nasal as a running feature. I mean, I suppose you'll know. Again, it's an arch pun, isn't it? A feature is in a feature of your face that does run sometimes when you have a cold. So running feature, you can't describe the nose as running all the time. It's only running sometimes, and that's why the question mark is there. It could be a running feature in certain situations, but then we get nasal. And so my idea about Leiden, which I'm pleased that, a kudos, a souk is what we're looking for there. That's a very good clue. So credit, kudos. Those of us who watch The Big Bang Theory will be familiar with that. And then we've got souk for the market, investing invest it on the up with D in the middle. And then we just need this one. Skim. Little brush. I mean, it must begin with S, mustn't it? I think it must be skim. But why? Scrubbing back, use. If you use, do you skimp? Oh, use little. Ah, okay. If you use little of something, you skimp on it. So we scrub the back of skimp to give skim, and if you brush something, I suppose you just skim. Oh, I just skimmed you. I just brushed you. And that's a brilliant puzzle, isn't it? Absolutely worth. So I think Jason, who's the editor of the Times Crossword, selects, you know, the Friday puzzles, sometimes because they're very difficult, but sometimes because they're just brilliant puzzles, and that is absolutely just a brilliant puzzle. So let's submit without leaderboard. I don't think there was anything else that we were too concerned about, was there? No, we're correct. Wonderful puzzle, very, very entertaining. How long is the video? Are we still within the realms of something sensible? We're fine. We're fine. So let's do the concise, or no, the concise. I mean the cryptic. The quick cryptic is what I'd like to do if my internet works. So let's have a go at this. I'll try and be a bit speedier with this one. And it's by Breadman. Sport that lion developing. That is, it's an anagram. Is it triathlon? Might be. Triathlon. Lots of starting letters. Samples, Tagliatelle on vacation somewhere in Italy, Trieste. One quite afflicted state. I'll say. Ancient character, spiky thing, thorn. That's a good clue. Meat reduced to pound, lamb. No news there, I broadcast, still in ignorance. Don't know. Unusually flies circling old chap's insular UK location, Isle of Man. None the wiser or something? Probably none the wiser. I didn't really read it enough to know. Party platform, Stagnite? I'm going to go for that on the basis I'm trying to raise. Cheerful Simon regularly observed 51 plants. Gladioli? Feels like it's gladioli. I'm not at all sure that's correct. Fix fight against European. Fix. Is it scrape, actually? That could be right. Tory visitor avoiding United crowd. Don't know. Type gloss paint, probably. Sun Kelvin, skier. Okay, there's a lot of not much reading going on in these clues at the moment. It's pusher without the P. Writer in university meeting. Editor without permission. Unsolicited. I don't know. Violent, aggressive person. Owned box. Had. Containing ecstasy. Head case. Cool. That's not an easy clue, I don't think, anyway. Saying taken from Go Ahead Agency is a hidden adage. Unwhat so. Writer in university meeting. Editor without permission. Woman's concealing corroded radiator. Heater, corroded heater, maybe? I'm not sure about that. Reportedly study good article on gold musical instrument reed organ. Maybe. So many of these, I'm not doing the wordplay proper justice at all. So what's this? Contory? Congest. That is correct. Travel up with ogling. Aquatic. No, I'm going to go for otter. Let's look at that one. Vulgar animal noise, don't know. Game I lost, unfortunately, leading to a rage. Leading to a rage. Don't know. Total. Outright? Something like downright then. Yeah, if something's down, it's in writing. Unauthorized, that must be. Game I lost, unfortunately. Solitaire or something? Low. Okay, I mean, that was an outrage, if that's correct. A heater might be wrong. It's right. So 8th. So not terrible, but you could see I'm really pushing my... I'm pushing things there, because some people are just quicker at reading than me, and I'm not giving myself time to read the clues. So I'm actually going to spend a moment, because some of these clues felt very clever to me. 11 down, cheerful, Simon regularly. So that's glad. Simon regularly is taking the regularly occurring letters, the even letters, I and O, out of the word Simon. Observed 51, that's the Roman numeral. So regularly observed is saying take the I and the O out of Simon, and then LI is the Roman numeral for 51. So that's why that was gladioli. I'd never read read organ properly. Reportedly study as a homophone for read, as in R-E-A-D. Good article, G and An, on OR, which we've talked about before, this tincture for gold in heraldry. So that's not easy. Aquatic mammal, excessive energy, OTT is excessive, over the top. Energy, E equals MC squared, and R for river. Now, solitaire was some sort of anagram followed by ire, but I never really understood it. Game, I lost, unfortunately, so it's an anagram of I lost, leading to A, that's that A in the answer, and then ire for rage. Unauthorized, I never understood. Writer is author. In university, so uni for university. Oh, university apostrophe S, so it's uni apostrophe S, that's the S at the start of solitaire, followed by ed for editor, as in an editor in a newspaper. 10 across, stagnite, I put that in. Party, stagnite, presumably. Platform, ignoring last thing, thing affected by reform is going to be an anagram of thing, so that gives the night part. And the platform ignoring the last is stage without its last letter. It's a very good puzzle, this. Breadman, who is that? Breadman. Is that John Grimshaw? I think I know who Breadman is. I think I've been told in the past who Breadman is. Now I can't remember. Oh, silly Simon. Anyway, okay, let's just... so I think most of the others I sort of might have muttered some words as I explain them. Ogling is a reversal of go, followed by ling, which is a common word we see in crosswords for heather. Anyway, there we go. I hope that helps with your own solving a little bit. If you do enjoy these videos, please do like, please do subscribe. Yeah, that would help with the algorithm, which is one puzzle we never seem to be able to solve. But thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back later with more editions of Cracking the Cryptic.